Hello there, welcome back to another video. My name is Max and today we are diving back into the Journal of Wreckage. It's been a while, but it's always a while between episodes of this for some reason. But we are slowly making progress through the list of many things that we must do. I've noticed that I've not done many that involve taking things out of the book. Like there's quite a few that involve taking pages out and doing things with them outside, and I've not done many of those. I'll be doing one of those today, but in the next episode I'm hoping to do a few more. I hope you enjoy the video. Our first page of the day is quite a tricky one. Write or draw with your left hand. And as you can see, I am using my left hand. You can tell because the writing's the right way around and my hand's on the left side of the screen. I have had practice with using my left hand. In one of my sketchbook challenge videos, I did a only use your left hand challenge. So I do know what I'm doing, and my right hand is getting very involved with holding the book, which I don't normally do. But, you know, that's the rules. You're allowed to hold the book with your right hand, you just can't pick the pen up with it. And I was just thinking to myself, I've done about 5 episodes of this series now, and I have not done a single picture of any of my OCs in the whole book, which is just so unlike me. I'm normally drawing them at every chance I can get. So, you can't tell because they don't really look like themselves here. But this is Toby and Ace. Toby is on the left and Ace is on the right. Toby's lips are way too big and bulgy and strange, and I don't know why I gave him such luscious lashes. He's not the one with the eyelashes, that's Ace that has the eyelashes. And Ace isn't particularly like himself either. His hair is very weird and messy, and it's a lot shorter than it is normally. It's normally sort of wavy and to both sides like it is there, but it's less sticky-uppy and more smooth. The technique to using your incorrect hand is to just like really concentrate and have a lot of tension in your fingers, which does hurt quite a lot, but it works. Once I did the line art, I coloured them in with watercolour. Anyone who's actually left-handed would have had a very easy time with this challenge, and I envy those people. Here they are finished. I am very pleased with this result. The next page is to document a boring event in detail. And the boring event that I chose to document in detail was brushing one's teeth. And I sort of set it out in a instruction-y type style, where the background is the description, and then I've got little pictures that show you what to do. I'll have to admit, the process of doing this did not go very quickly. I was very bored by this, and I had a YouTube video on in the background that I was watching, and I kept just stopping and watching the video and ignoring what I was meant to be doing. Another thing I found difficult was thinking of ways to elongate the instructions as much as possible so that they filled the page up, because describing how to brush your teeth, it's like a 2-sentence process, but I had to really stretch it out, and I had to keep thinking of ways that I could make words longer and add unneeded conjunctions. I also had to add more pictures than I would have originally. First, the third box is meant to have brushing the teeth, and then I thought, what? That makes no sense. I meant to fill the entire set of boxes, and so I had to think of ways to do that as well. I know that my tap drawings are quite horrendous, but this process was actually quite fun. Once I'd drawn everything, I used my coloured pencils to colour it all in. I tried to keep my colour palette as limited as possible to make it really boring and highlight the effect of the dullness of the teeth brushing. I used lots of grey, and I didn't use a lot of colourful colours. I only really used red and purple. I quite like this one. It's not my favourite, but it isn't bad, let's just say that. Page number 3 is poke holes in this page using a pencil, which as you can see, I did here. I then went a bit overkill and got my scalpel out and cut around the edge of every single circle individually. And my idea for this page was to draw things that often have holes in them and position the holes in them, around them, something like that. You can see, you know. So things like eyes, socks, cheese, scissors, cups, sellotape, t-shirts, frog faces. I don't know why I drew that random frog. I think I was running low on ideas. Once I'd done that, I got some blue paint out and I painted the entire background blue. This was for no particular reason other than I like to keep my pages nice and colourful. You may remember the events of last episode and how we were cursed by Gandalf and his latte, and you can see on the left the bombshell that is the remnants of that. And so, to fix this problem, I got some washi tape and I just went round and round and round the edges of the page until there was no more tape visible. I was expecting it to be a lot more aesthetic than it turned out to be, but there we go, you can't see the nasty sellotape anymore, so I guess that's a win. I painted the centre black and then I got out my sticker paper and I began to draw some random eyes. Honestly, thanks to Gandalf, this left page was just a wreck. It had no meaning. The only purpose of the decoration was to cover up the mess that Gandalf made. I'm very upset with him. Then I cracked out my felt tip pens and coloured in all of the little drawings on the right hand page. And unfortunately, Gandalf decided to stick his nose in again and ruin yet another perfectly fine page. The markers bled through, and it's Gandalf's fault. No one can change my mind. Out of all the pages I did today, this is my least favourite, and guess whose fault it is? Gandalf's. The next page said, sleep with the journal and describe the experience here. And I did sleep with the journal, but I didn't really experience anything. I know I had a dream, but I forgot what it was about. So instead, I decided to draw a person falling into a dream. Like, this is what happens when you start dreaming instead of like normal sleep. The first one was meant to be him sleeping and then him falling out, but I redid that because it was way too small and it didn't match the proportions of the other pictures. I then went round very carefully with some black paint and painted the entire background black. This black void was meant to represent the sort of in-between world where you're not sleeping but you're also not dreaming. This took a very long time because I had to use a teeny tiny brush to avoid going over details, and so when there weren't any details and it was just massive open space, I was just there for hours with my teeny tiny brush. When the black paint was finished, I got a micron pen of size 5, I believe, and I went around the outline of all of the different pictures. After outlining them, I cracked out my coloured pencils and I coloured him in colour by colour, starting with his skin. I decided to make his pyjamas a bit more interesting by adding a little cute star pattern to them. I really liked this. I liked adding the shading with the dark blue afterwards, and I feel like it's the stars and then the black is like the night sky. I really liked the concept for this one. The end result was okay, but I think it could have been executed a little bit better. The 5th page is the one that I enjoyed doing most. It's not my favourite end result, but I did enjoy the process of making it. The instructions were to document time passing, which is pretty vague and left the door open pretty wide. So I decided to document time passing through the life cycle of a blob. If you do not know what a blob is, first of all, you're a very uneducated being, and second of all, they are like little fruit creatures that live as blobs, and they are pretty much liquid, and they are very cute, and they are based after fruits or vegetables or foods of some sort. I made a video in which blobs were created some time ago. I will link it in the iCards. The life cycle starts with a seed, which then grows into a bloblet, which then grows into a blobling, which is then turned into a blob. This blob then grows a leaf through its head, which then turns into a seed, and the cycle starts again. Fascinating, truly fascinating. I coloured them in with pencil, and then I did the background in a sort of mint green colour and added drop shadows to the back of all the little blob creatures. This particular blob is a mango blob, which is a very common type of blob that lives in rainforests. Once the paint was dry, I got my Micron pen sized 5 out again, and I outlined all of the blobs that had lost a bit of definition, and I added arrows to show the direction of the process. Here are my finished blobs. I like them very much. I hope you do as well. Usually I only do 5 pages per video, but today I'm doing 6 because last week I did 4, so I thought I'd make up the numbers this week. And also, I promised at the start that I would include a page where you have to take it out the book, and here it is, float this page. I started by painting the entire background of that specific page blue, and then I chopped it out and prepared it for floating. Off camera, I went over all the black writing and the little wave patterns in black paint. This was so that it really defined it, because it was a little bit faded, but also so that it might make some cool, like, drippy effects when I put it in the water. And we set sail in 3, 2, 1. That was a little bit silly, sorry about that, but it's not a Wreck This Journal episode without a little bit of being silly. While the right page dried, I started working on the left page. I drew a pirate ship on a waves of sea because it's floating. I put some tentacles popping out of the water to allude to a possible sea monster that's lurking beneath the surface. I used watercolours again to colour in everything here just to keep the continuity, and for the blues I used similar colours to the one that I used for the right page. Having the figure out a way to freeze this page thing exposed has inspired me to maybe do that next episode. If I don't, then you can kick me in the comments, that's fine. And finally, I coloured in the sail black because it is of course a pirate ship. And here is the finished one. I really like this one. It might be my favourite, but I think the left-hand one is my favourite. Here is a recap of all the pages we did today, because I know it was a long one. Thank you very much for watching the video. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video.